Hello. Do you know me? If no, there's no problem. My friends will introduce my life to you. Nice to meet you.
Hey guys, what's up? Yeah. On this video, we're gonna show you the life of Sofonisba Anguissola, a famous Renaissance painter. Actually, a biography in a way that isn't boring though. I hope so.
Sofonisba Anguissola was born in the year 1532 in the Italian city of Cremona. She was born into a noble but relatively poor family. She was the eldest of the 7 siblings. There were 6 women and a man. She had a good and complete education. She learned from arts to Latin and how to play musical instruments. Sofonisba, Lucy and Elena studied at Bernardino Camp's atelier around 1550 to 1559. Elena soon entered the convent, but Sofonisba and Lucy began to excel in portrait painting. The production of Anguissola during this first period of artistic education in Italy is often confused with the work of her sisters. She traveled to Rome, where she was introduced to Michelangelo, who immediately recognized her talent, and to Milan, where she painted the Duke of Alba and the Isabela de Valois, who was an amateur painter.
She later became the official painter of the king's court and adapted her style to the more formal requirements of official portraits for the Spanish court. After the death of the queen, King Philip II helped organize an aristocratic marriage. She moved to Palermo and later to Pisa and Genoa, where she continues to work as the main portrait painter, apparently with the support of her 2 husbands. Her first husband, Orazio Lomellino, died in a ship attacked by pirates. On a trip back to her homeland, she met a ship captain, Fabrizio Moncada, who she married less than a year later. As women painters in the second half of the 16th century, however much they excelled in artistic quality, they had to restrict themselves to specific genres such as religious painting, still lifes, or portrait painting. It is in the last genre that both Sofonisba and her sister focused. The restrictions of the field of actions of these painters goes beyond. They needed to practice the art. However, they acted in the familiar place that surrounded them, where they made portraits of their sisters, brother, and parents, as well as several self-portraits before being recognized. The painter's restriction to certain genre of painting, however, did not prevent her from authoring her own work.
Girls, you can do whatever you want.
One of her most famous and interesting paintings from a thematic point of view is the chess game, a group portrait of her sisters.
The theme of this group portrait is curious because it represents a moment of intimacy and leisure of the sisters, while revealing the intellectual place in which they live. Representing a game of chess, which at that time was restricted to the court and aristocratic places, and to a large extent male, Sofonisba also demonstrates that she and her sisters dominated the game. Due to Sofonisba's fame, the Duke of Sessa, representing King Philip II of Spain, writes to Emanuel Anguissola in 1559, asking him to send Sofonisba to the Spanish court. Philip II was about to marry Isabela de Valois, his 3rd wife, and called Sofonisba to be the companion of the future queen. Everything is arranged, and Sofonisba goes to the court around 1560. After the marriage of the kings, she settled with the court in the Alcazar of Madrid, where she was the lady and tutor of painting of Isabela de Valois with another 14 ladies for about 10 years. After the death of the queen, she was the lady and guardian of the 2 princesses, Isabel Clara Eugenia and Catalina Micaela. Also in the court, Sofonisba restricted her art to the portraiture of the members of the court. At the time, unlike the previous phase, almost no works dated or signed, although she actually painted court portraits. Sofonisba didn't officially work as a painter, but as a bridesmaid. Not only that, some of her works were copied frequently by the other contemporary portrait painters, of the court, such as Alonso Chances Coelho and Jorge de la Rua, Antunes Moro, and even Rubens years later.
Her most characteristic and attractive paintings are the portraits of herself and her family, painted before she moved to the Spanish court.
In particular, her children's paintings were innovative and much appreciated. In the Spanish court, she painted formal state portraits and official style in force. The example of Anguissola, as well as her works, had a lasting influence on the next generations of artists, and its great success paved the way for many women to pursue serious careers as artists. Her paintings can be seen in galleries in Boston, Isabela Stewart Gardner Museum, Bergamo, Brescia, Budapest, Madrid, Museo del Prado, Naples, Siena, and the Uffizi Gallery in Florence. The historian of art Giorgio Vasari wrote about Anguissola that she worked with deeper study and greater grace than any woman of our times at problems of design, for not only has she learned to draw, paint, and copy from nature, and reproduce most skillfully works by other artists, but she has on her own painted some most rare and beautiful paintings. At the end of her life, she also painted religious themes. Anguissola became a rich patron of arts after her side weakened, and in 1625 she died at 93 years of age in Palermo. Our video was made by Emanuel, Isabela, Leonardo Batista, and Maria Júlia. Thanks Teacher Maria and Tiago for this opportunity to mix history and English, describing in a dynamic way the life of this brilliant Renaissance woman. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. See ya!